Ngayon naman, nasa analyzing distributions na tayo. So, meron tayong percentile and quartile. Umpisahan natin sa percentile. Yung percentile, ito yung cut-off point ng dataset kung saan yung given percentage ng values falls below it. So, again, if meron tayong certain percentile, any value or yung value below that percentage, it means they are smaller. So, this is an example. Suppose, meron tayong test scores ng 100 students. Ngayon, pag kinuha natin yung 40th percentile, it means na sa 40th percentile, merong 40 students na ang score niya is lower, mababa. 40th percentile ng students scored lower. At yung kanya namang opposite is 60, it means 60 students scored higher. Basta pag 40th percentile, the given percentile, it means lower siya. Another example is, if another student score is at the 90th percentile naman yung score ng student, then ibig sabihin, 90% ng student scored lower. So, ayan, keep in mind, if nasa ang percentile ka, kung nasa 10% ka or 10 percentile ka pala, it means 10% scored lower. If hindi siya sa score, it means 10% got it lower. So, yun yung ibig sabihin ng 10 percentile, 10% got it lower. Kapag 90th percentile, 90% got it lower. So, sa student score, it means 90% of the students scored lower. Ngayon, kukunin natin siya manually at gagamitin din natin yung Excel function. Una natin gagawin is to arrange this dataset into smallest to largest sa selling price. So, piliin natin itong custom sort, then selling price, smallest to largest, then click OK. Naka-arrange na siya ngayon. Dito kasi natin madodouble check if tama ba yung percentile natin. Ngayon, ito yung formula. Ito yung formula ng percentile na susundin natin manually. So, yung P, ibig sabihin nito is what percentile yung gusto natin kunin. We divide it sa 100 and then multiply this sa population, yung N. How many yung count ng dataset natin? Plus 1. It's always plus 1. Sa formula na to. So, to get it manually, so, equal sign, tapos, we want to get the 85th percentile, divide this sa 100. We want to multiply this sa population plus 1. So, the population is 12 plus 1. Ito yung position ng 85th percentile. So, hahanapin natin dito yan sa dataset natin yung position na 11.05. So, ibaba muna natin ito bago natin gawin yung manual na values. So, ibig sabihin, between the 11th and 12 yan eh. Pababa pa siya yung position niya. This is the 11th position. Tapos, plus 0.5. So, to get that, kunin natin yung value nitong 11th position. The 11th value plus 0.05. Ayan yung excess dito sa 11. So, 0.05. We multiply this. Yung 0.05, we need to multiply this sa difference ng 12 at 11th value. Yung pinakaiba nitong dalawa. So, the 12th value minus yung 11th value. Ganyan. So, what we have here? So, this is yung resulta. This is the 85th percentile. So, yung mga sinelect natin na cell kanina, magbabago yan kapag ibabalik natin ito dun sa home sale number. So, kapag sinelect natin sa custom sort, yung home sale, smallest to largest, as you see, nagbago. So, para hindi magbago yung information na to, kailangan, ang gamitin nyo mismo is yung value. So, halimbawa, this one, Control C, then, you add yung 0.05 na excess times yung difference nung dalawang amount, yung 11th and 12. So, 456, 250, 456, 250 minus yung 11th place o yung rank 11 sa dataset. Then, click enter. It's the same. Para hindi magulo. Kasi kapag ito, nagbago siya ng arrangement, magbabago din yung data nyo dito sa 85th percentile. So, we delete this. At ito yung gagamitin natin, yung manual values. Sa Excel, meron dalawang function yung percentile. Una dito is yung percentile inc. Dito sa percentile.inclusive, kasama dito yung 0% and 100% as valid percentiles. So, kumbaga, kasama ang lowest and highest values ng dataset. Ito namang percentile exclusive, dito, nire-remove niya yung lowest and highest values. So, ginagamit ito if you want a true percentile calculation. Ito yung formula that we have. Ito yung percentile.exclusive. Gamitin na natin ngayon yung Excel function at makikita natin yung pinagkaiba ng inclusive and exclusive na percentile. So, select percentile inclusive. Then, select this entire data set. And then, yung percentile na gusto natin kunin, which is 85th. Then, translate it into decimal. So, the 0.85. Yan yung equivalent na 85th percentile. And then, enter. So, sa inclusive, kasama ang lowest and highest value. Dito naman sa exclusive, tinatanggal niya yung lowest and highest value. To show it to you, select percentile, exclusive, this data set, and then 0.85. So, ang parehas is yung ating manual computation at yung exclusive na Excel function. So, it is true na if you want to get the true percentile, use the percentile.exclusive function ng Excel. So, for another example, edit natin itong formula natin. So, gusto natin makuha yung 75th percentile, 12 data points plus 1. Yung value niya is makikita sa rank 9. Okay. Let's see kung nasaan yung rank 9. Yan. So, number na natin itong dataset natin. So, it is between rank 9 and rank 10. Ito yan. Tapos, manually, makukuha natin yung percentile by getting the value ng rank 9, 254,000 plus yung excess 0.75. We multiply this sa difference ng 10 at 9. So, 257,500 minus 254,000. Ito yung manual computation ng percentile value for the 75th percentile. Okay, this is for the 75th percentile. Tapos, To check, kunin natin yung exclusive value niya. So, percentile, exclusive, then it is 0.75. It's the same. Depende sa excess yung numerical value. Yun yung gamitin ninyong multiplier dito. Ito. Yung excess after the whole number. Whole number dito is 9. Yun yung gagamitin na multiplier para sa manual computation. So, to interpret this 85th and 75th, ibig sabihin nito na 85% is lower than this value. 85% ng housing price is lower than this value. Then, 75% ng housing prices is lower than this value. So, keep in mind, kung ano yung percentile, kaduktong nun is lower than this value. Ngayon naman, this is about quartile. So, yung quartile, dinidivide ito at inaayos nito yung dataset into 4 equal parts. So, bawat isang quartile, it represents 25% of the data. So, actually, quartile 1 is the 25th percentile, quartile 2 is the 50th or the median percentile, and quartile 3 is the 75th. Yung Q0, ito yung smallest value or the 0 percentile. And then, yung Q4 naman, ito yung maximum value. Sa order list, ito lang yan. Q1, 2, 3, and 4. Dahil yung mga quartile is actually galing sa percentile, ito pa rin yung gagamitin natin na formula. So, again, gusto natin kunin ngayon yung 25th percentile. So, we divide this 100. And then, we multiply this sa resulta ng population, which is 12 plus 1. So, yung 25th percentile is makikita natin between rank 3 and 4. Tapos, gagawin ulit natin itong manual computation. So, actually, pwede natin itong i-copy na lang. Tapos, ano yung value ng rank 3? Which is 138,000. Then, palitan natin. This one is 138,000. Tapos, yung excess ng 3, which is 0.25. And then, yung rank 4, which is 142,000. Minus yung value ng rank 3. So, manually, ito yung 25th percentile or the first quartile. And to check this using the Excel function, we use quartile exclusive to get the real quartile. And then, anong quartile gusto natin kunin? So, ito yan, yung first quartile. And then, close. It's the same, diba? Kasi, this computation, this formula is the real formula or actual formula to get the percentile. And, sa Excel function, it is sa exclusive side, kung saan tinatanggal yung minimum and maximum value. Then, kunin naman natin yung 50th percentile. So, using the same formula, copy na lang natin. Control V. And then, kunin natin yung 50th percentile. So, it is between 6 and 7. This is 6.5. Let's copy this. And yung value ng rank 6. Palitan natin. Tapos, this one is 5 yung excess niya sa 6.5. Then, ano yung value ng rank 7? 208,000. 199,500. Right? Then, we can copy this. Here, palitan natin quartile, second na. Okay? Piliin natin ngayon is yung this time kasi nag-move siya, 'di ba? Nagpalit siya ng selection. So ulitin natin quartile exclusive and then comma and then yung median quartile or the 50th quartile. It's still the same. And then the third quartile, which is this one, yung kinuha natin kanina, repeat na lang natin siya, which is the 75th percentile, which is between rank 9 and 10. So, actually, ito lang yan. This is between rank 9 and 10, which is 254 and 257. 257, 254, and excess is 0.75. The quartile exclusive for this data set, piliin naman natin ngayon is yung third quartile. Ayan. So, meron na tayong information ng mga quartile using this formula and using the function for quartile exclusive. Ngayon naman, ayusin natin yung arrangement ng dataset na to. We need to divide this or arrange this into 4 equal parts. The next na kukunin natin is the interquartile range. This one is hindi siya naapektuhan ng extreme values or outliers kasi it focuses only sa middle half of the data and pinapakita nito kung nasaan yung bulk of the data lies. Kasi dito sa interquartile range, we find the difference between quartile 1 and quartile 3. So, it is quartile 3 minus quartile 1. This is the value ng ating interquartile range. Kung nasaan, bulk of the prices lies in this amount or around this amount. Ganyan. So, let's visualize this quartile. So, ibig sabihin ng quartile 1, it is supposed to be less than. Di ba pag sinabi natin percentile, if it is 25th percentile, 25% is lower than this amount. So, ano yung 139,000 dito? So, ito yung quartile 1. The first three value, hindi siya nag-exceed ng 139,000. And then, dito naman tayo sa quartile 1,750 are below this amount. So, 50% ng house sales are below this amount. So, nasaan siya dito? Hindi naman siya pwedeng sa 208, diba? Ito na siya, yung value niya. Ito yung mga data points within the 50th quartile. And then, sa 75th percentile naman, or the third quartile, ang sinasabi dito is 75% of the house prices are below this data. And, ito na siya, 256. Hindi dapat susobra. Ito siya. Then, lastly, this is the maximum quartile or the Q4. Kung saan, ito na yung maximum value. Ganyan. So, to visualize this further, 75th percentile, actually, ito yung covered niyan. Ayan siya. Kasi 75% are below this amount. So, 256, nandito siya eh. Ito, below this amount, diba? Between these two. Ito siya visually. The 75% are below this amount. Dito naman sa second quartile, 58% are below this amount. Nagsimula siya dito sa 200, dito sa 200,000. Ito yung coverage niya talaga. And lastly, yung 25th percentile, ang coverage niya is this 3 lang. Kasi 25% are just below this amount. Kanina, we have Q1, 2, 3, and 4. Yung maximum value kasi, ayan yung Q4, the last quartile. Ito yung maximum value. Usually kasi ang kinukuha lang talaga is the first, second, and third quartile. To visualize our data, pwede natin gamitin dito yung box and whisker. So, para gamitin yon, i-select muna natin yung data set natin, which is purely data lang. Then, insert dito yung, ang tawag dito is statistical charts. Tapos, piliin natin itong box and whisker. Tapos, we can improve this. Lakihan natin. Tapos, lagyan natin ng axis titles, and then data labels, and then yan. Kung saan gusto ilagay. So, usually, nasa right naman talaga. Tapos, pataasin natin yung font para madaling basahin. And then, so this is about home sales. Tapos, this side, ito yung selling prices. Dito naman, ito kasi yung box plot kung nasaan na siya. Tanggalin na natin yung horizontal. Okay. So, ano ang mga ibig sabihin nito? Paano natin siya babasahin? Itong 456, ito, is an outlier. Kasi sobrang layo na niya dun sa bulk ng dataset. Itong 298, ito yung maximum value niya if within the dataset. Yung bulk ng dataset, ayan, nandito siya. Between 256 and 139. So, balikan natin yung quartile natin. This is actually quartile 1. This is the median quartile. And ito naman yung quartile 3. The minimum value is 108. And the maximum value sa dataset is 298. So, saan nakuha yung mga yan? Balikan natin yung dataset. Ginamit kasi natin yung exclusive na formula kung saan tinatanggal yung zero value, the minimum value, at yung maximum value. Kaya naman, ito 108, ito yung kanyang minimum value. Dito, hindi siya zero. And then, yung maximum value, ni-remove niya. Kaya dito, ang maximum value niya is 298. And this 456 is the outlier. So, magandang gamitin yung box plot para makita ninyo yung outlier sa dataset. Ano naman itong 219? So, ito naman 219 is the average ng lahat ng houses. To check, so select average, then lahat na presyo ng bahay, yan yun, 219. So, minarkahan niya na agad kung nasaan ang average or mean ng lahat ng house prices. Yan. So, useful naman itong box plot para makita kung nasaan yung outliers. Ito yung average, outliers, maximum value within the dataset, removing outliers sa after nito, and then the minimum value sa loob ng dataset. Tapos, this is the third quartile, second, and first quartile. So, maganda siyang visualization for percentile and quartile. Ngayon, kukunin naman natin yung covariance. Ano ba ibig sabihin ng covariance? Ibig sabihin nito, sinusukat ito, how two variables move together. So, kapag sinabing may positive covariance, ibig sabihin nun, When one variable increases, the other also increases. Halimbawa, ito. Kapag tumaas ang temperature, tataas din yung bottled water sales. Totoo ba yun? Kapag mainit, mataas ang benta ng tubig. Tapos, kapag naman may negative covariance, ibig sabihin, when one variable increases, the other tends to decrease. Ibig sabihin yan, dito, kapag tumaas yung temperature sa weather, bumababa naman yung benta sa bottled water. Yun yung negative covariance. And kapag close to zero yung resulta ng covariance, ibig sabihin nun, may little or no linear relationship at all. Hindi siya positively or negatively related with each other. Para makuha yung covariance, ito yung formula niya. So, meron tayo ditong, kukunin natin yung summation. This x variable is the high temperature. So, this is the independent variable. And then, itong y naman, ito yung bottled water sales, which is the dependent variable. And then, ano pa ba? Pag merong bar sa taas, ibig sabihin yan, kailangan natin ng average. Then, n is the population, tapos minus 1. So, we divide it sa population minus 1. So, ngayon, kunin na natin yung average ng high temperature. So, select average ng lahat ng data points ng temperature. And then, average din ng bottled water sales. Okay. Ayan. Simulan na natin yung computation ng covariance manually. Ito yung formula again. Tapos, para visual tayo, ito yung first part, yung x minus yung average nito. And then, ito naman yung y minus yung kanyang average. And then, sa dulo, kailangan natin ng summation ng dalawang set na to. So, we need to multiply them both. Simulan na natin ngayon yung computation. So, sa simula, it's the data point minus yung average. Kapag ganito yung ginawa ninyo, data point minus yung average, tapos, you lock this by function f4, ganyan, mas mabilis nga naman. Pero, kapag kukunin nyo na yung sum nito, wala kayong makukuha dyan. Kasi, null set itong second. Kumbaga, tinitignan ng Excel na wala siyang value. What you can do is, get the data point, then minus, do it manually. 84.6. Ganyan. Parehas pa rin naman siya ng resulta. But this time, makukuha nyo na yung sum ng data ninyo. So, kung this is the sum ng data, i-highlight natin para madaling ma-identify. Ayan. Tapos, susunod naman is yung sa y value. Para same yung decimal places, kunin natin dito, single decimal place ulit. So, 26.3 yung average na kukunin natin. And then, yung single data point ng y minus yung average niya na 26.3. And then, enter. And then, kunin natin yung sum. It's 0.2. So, ngayon, nandito na tayo sa summation. We multiply these two. So, again, multiply. And then, let's get yung sum. So, we have 166.42. Ngayon, we can use this formula na. Bilangin natin kung ilan siya. So we have 14. It's 166.42 divided by 14 minus 1. Keep in mind, kailangan natin lagyan ng parenthesis ito kasi uunahin niyang i-divide yung 166.42 sa 14. So, ang resulta natin, 12.8. Yan. Ito yung ating covariance. Lagyan natin siya dito sa manual. Paano naman siya kukunin dito sa Excel na which is way so easier. Let's select covariance. Kailangan S para mag-match tayo dun sa formula natin. And then array 1 and array 2. Then close. Tignan natin kung magmamatch. It match. Kung saan ang galing itong sagot ng Excel, we have this formula. Covariance, makukuha natin siya by using this formula for it. Ngayon, ano ang interpretation natin dito? So, because the covariance is greater than 0, it indicates na merong positive relationship between the high temperature and yung sales ng bottled water. So, kapag nag-i-increase yung temperature sa weather, umiinit, tumataas din yung benta ng bottled water. Ngayon, kunin naman natin yung correlation coefficient. Often denoted as R or P, it measures both yung strength and direction ng linear relationship between two variables. Ini-standardize nito yung covariance value kasi this lies between -1 and +1 lamang. So, unlike covariance, yung correlation is unit-free, making it easier to compare across different dataset. Para sa correlation coefficient formula, ito yung gagamitin natin. So, meron tayong itong R sub XY. Ito yung sample correlation coefficient. Ito yung main formula natin. This one, S sub XY. Ito yung sample covariance na meron na tayo. Ngayon, nakahanapin na lang natin is yung standard deviation ng X at yung standard deviation ng Y. Dito yan. We need to multiply them with each other, yung both standard deviation. To get it much easier, ang gawin natin is gamitin natin ang formula, which is ST-DEV. Standard deviation, gamitin natin yung S, ST-DEV S, and then select the data points. We have 4.36. Next is yung ST-DEV S. Kasi this one, it estimates standard deviation based sa sample. So, ito yung gamitin natin. ST-DEV S. Dot S. And then, select the data point. Click Enter. Then, we have 3.15. And ngayon, we can compute na manually dito sa ating correlation coefficient. So, let's use the formula. Mauna muna yung correlation coefficient. What we have is equals to 12.80. Then, we divide it sa standard deviation ng X and Y, which is 4.36. Multiply natin siya. 4.36 times 3.15. Then now, ang sagot is 0.93. Ito yung correlation coefficient natin. Then to check sa correlation coefficient, pwede natin gamitin formula is correlation. And then, yung array 1 natin. Then, yung array 2, which is yung Y, it's the same. So, ngayon, alam na natin kung saan ang gagaling yung mga sagot ng Excel, kung paano siya kinukuha manually at ano yung equivalent Excel function niya. So, ano ibig sabihin ng correlation coefficient natin na to? So, yung correlation coefficient na greater than 0, it indicates na may positive linear relationship between the x and y variables. Or in this case, ano ba yung x and y variables natin? Yung high temperature and yung bottled water sales. So, it seems parehas sila talaga ng covariance. But this time, itong correlation coefficient is between positive 1 and negative 1. Kapag naman ang nakuha is yung mas malapit sa negative 1, it means na meron silang negative relationships. So, kapag tumataas yung isang variables, bumababa naman yung other variables. Ganon. So, dito, napatunayan natin na positively yung correlation nitong dalawang variables natin, it aligns with the covariance. Ngayon, let's visualize our data, yung original data natin na x and y. This one. Yung ating high temperature and bottled water sales. So, let's insert scatter chart, this type of chart, and then select this. So kinuha niya lahat. Kailangan i-select natin kasi marami siyang katabing data. Okay. So, just select our data set and then insert scatter chart. Ayan. Tapos, lagyan natin siya ng mga titles. Okay. Dito sa vertical axis, ilagay natin yung sales cases. And this one naman, sa horizontal axis is yung high temperature. How do we check if tama yung mga axis? Lakihan muna natin yung font para madaling basahin. So, sabi, kapag 78, yung high temperature, ito yun, 75 between 78, 23 yung sales. So, we can easily check. Tapos, lagyan natin ng labels para madali. Pwede rin ganyan yung labels nyo. Okay, so very visual. Nakikita natin ngayon kung saan papunta. Habang tumataas yung temperature as you can see here. And habang tumataas yung temperature, tumataas din yung number of cases. So, indeed, na positive yung covariance, positive yung correlation. If yung variable A tumataas, variable B also increases.